Oh, yeah. Hi. Hi, everyone. So the thing with recording a devlog every every week didn't work out. Yeah, because it so happened that you have to stick to your schedule in order to have something substantial to show every week, and this wasn't the case. And I will show you what was it all about. Yeah, so in general, 2 weeks ago, after the first issue of the devlog, I started to work on a gameplay mechanic and system, which I call memories. Yeah, so in general, dog collects memories in forms of toy balls. Yeah, and every ball has a small touching story to it, which goes backwards in narrative in game. Yeah, and I wanted to represent it in a form of, I don't know, an inventory, or maybe it would better be described as a collectible stash. I don't know, so I will just show you how it looks now. I'm pretty happy with how it looks. Here's my... So, here we go with how it looks. Yeah, so I also disabled the music in the level because like a very nice composer wrote this tune for me, this one that you can't hear. Yeah, for free. Yeah, and it's very nice, but I've listened to it for like 1,000 times, and it started to be annoying, which is very unfortunate for such good music. So let's get back to the memory. So if we press M, we kind of fly into the heights, the dog's head, and here are some memories, which obviously are not there yet because you have to yet find them. So they are part like an achievements mechanic. Um, yeah, this is another. Push the inventory button. Here we have our balls in the order we collected them. This is another thing I don't really I haven't really decided how to go with. So whether they are uh, collected one by one and the order of in which you find them is relevant, or I will go more with a achievement system. So you will have a I will leave a blank space in order. So maybe it will give player some idea where he might have where he could look for this missing ball. So and not run around whatever. I'm thinking on it. So when we collect the ball, we just hit him. Click on the icon. Yeah, I also rendered a lot of in-game balls because I really like the model I've made. And I made a lot of colorful textures and modeled a ton. Yeah, literally a lot of these toy balls. So they would be colorful and interesting and different. Yeah. So and when we click on each ball, we will be able to read the story behind this. Yes, I'm not gonna spoil any stories yet because this is part of game and it would be kind of big spoiler. But this, so here's how it works. Yeah, and it took some time. Hell, I've been struggling with it because I had a different idea for the menu. Yeah, I wanted it to have tabs, and it appears that there is a problem. Not a problem, but it's I would call it a skill issue on my side. Yeah, that I just can't my knowledge and skill in Unreal Engine and in programming are insufficient to make the thing I imagine it to. So I decided to make it simpler because I need to move with the demo, and I will think if it's okay, or I should put some more effort into it a little bit later. Anyway, here are the a lot of different balls. So here are the meshes for this particular 6 balls, and here the amount of materials I have for different ones. I want also to vary, to add some variety in size. Yeah, I know it's a very small detail, but it's an important part of the game, so I want to be neat about it. Yeah, and maybe later I will model maybe a different set of balls for each location or level, or maybe I will add some variety to the kind of ball, but because these ones are obviously the tennis balls, yeah, and maybe I will add some chewing balls and some lighting balls. So there is a lot of things to explore here. Yeah, anyway, so it works, and it was pretty difficult for me, and I had to take a couple of steps back in my work on it. So generally, why is it difficult? Because like a rookie developer like I am, I may be a little bit a rookie plus, because I've seen some stuff already. I've been working with Unreal Engine for almost a year, and I may be like, really, I would call myself a rookie plus. Yeah, but how hard can it be, right? There are a lot of tutorials, like free ones and paid ones. Yeah, this is true. But if you look into those tutorials, so there are several kinds of tutorials. First kind is when this tutorial is a part of the series, when you are making a particular sort of game, like ARPG or Souls-like, like the Gorka games recently released. It's a whole new thing. The problem with this kind, not the problem that I'll say, the thing, not an issue, not a problem, but a thing with this kind of tutorials is you really have to follow them up to the letter if you are not really understanding what you're doing. And if you follow them to the letter, kind of making a clone of the game described in this tutorial of another game. Yeah, and if you have already a lined up design document like I do, and there are some things that you need, and you need to find out how to make them, and they if you, for example, already work on a inventory tutorial, and this is how I decided to go about this memories system. Yeah, basically it's an inventory, the kind of inventory where you can put items into it, but you cannot throw items out of it. Yeah, and you can't use them, you just can set them and read about them. But technically, it can be an inventory, like with a twist. Yeah, there are different things. I could go with it like about the collection, and there are plenty of tutorials like this over there. So, if you don't have any systems in your game, like stamina or objectives or dialogue systems, like you have nothing yet. Yeah, any kind of tutorial will work. But once you have any particular system working, and the one you are about to work and want a tutorial, guide, a lesson about how to do, it might not work with what you already have, or with how you want it to look like. And this was my case. It just wouldn't work with the way I wanted it to look, because long story short, it's like I wanted it to look like this, I don't know if I still have the origin. No, it's in UI. Here it is. Yeah. So I wanted it to look like this, where you have a tab menus and you have your clues, your trails, your memories in a single screen, and you just tap between them, and things like this. Yeah. And here is the setup for this. Yes, setting the active tab, switching the widget. Then I wanted to go and make a memory widget, put it right here, and just switch it. The thing is, I couldn't work out how to communicate within this nested widget, because the thing is, until you open this menu, none of this really exists in game. So you can't really put any data there. There are some workarounds, so whenever this thing is created on the screen or becomes visible on the screen, Unreal Engine just puts these balls here from a structure which may or may not be empty. Each item there has a number as an integer, yeah, and things like this. And I found a workaround, but only on a single screen. I couldn't making inside the tab menu is a little bit too complicated to reach for my plate now. Yeah, so here's it. And after I finally made it, I made it in an unbelievably like rubber ducky manner, because I was just sitting talking to myself, and talking is a little bit of an understatement. So I will enable my screen messages again. So a lot of problems here. So I had an observation. So when I do click on this, and if I put a print string in the blueprint of the button, and I put connect the contents of the data that is already in this button, the print string, and when I click it, it shows the message on the screen. So it's 90% done already. I just need to put it not in the print string node, but in this container, which is over here. How do I do that? Yeah, and I've terrorized ChatGPT to no avail. Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of AI and things, but sometimes you have to do what you have to do, and I asked them and I explained the setup in excruciating detail to ChatGPT, and yeah, it showed me a general concept which I already happened to know. Yeah, but the problem is not you understanding the general concept of how you should do it, it's an execution. Yeah, then I watched a lot of this, what took me 2 weeks. A lot of tutorials and lessons, yeah, and I made an event dispatcher, yeah, and I realized that you actually can use an event dispatcher as not only as a signal, but also as a package. So you can add node there, put some data into the event dispatcher, and once you dispatch the signal, you also dispatch all the data to whatever or wherever or whomever is listening to, and this is how I made it work. Okay, and I was really happy when it actually happened. So here is the click event. Here is the event dispatcher, and here is how I collect the data from the freshly picked up ball, and which is now in the structure. I sent the description, the text there, and here is printing the string. Yeah, and also it goes in the event dispatcher to wherever it goes, whomever wants to listen. Yeah, this is about the hard thing I had to work on last week. Yeah, and starting Monday, I decided to work on a different system because the memories obviously work. I just need to put the balls everywhere on the first location and write the stories or edit the stories. Find about, okay, it's just a narrative thing. It's actually what I really I like doing everything. Yeah, but narrative is the thing I'm quite good at. So I'm looking forward to just writing those stories. Yeah, and another thing that Tailgate demo and the game itself is Lex is an objective system, and I decided to go with a very simple on-screen objective system. Here it is. Yep, here it is. Yeah, so now we have our first objective. It obviously not for just for the test. Yeah, and the obvious thing to go is to have a separate widget like a menu. Let's call it a journal. And I decided to not do it because it's an narrative adventure. You have to look around. You have to. It's not about sitting in menus and reading clues and a detective work in a human sense of way. It's a dog game. It's a dog adventure. So you have to put your nose out there and not in the menus. Yeah. So I decided that I'll stick to this on-screen widget. I will just let it expand. Yeah, so anytime I need like more information on the current objective, I just press T, which is trail. T is for trail. Yeah, and there are another element over there. So it's like a more literature style, like more narrative explanation of the objective. So sniff around the house is like very directive, right? Direct and directive. Yeah, and I wanted to put a little bit more story to it, so a little bit more emotion, which will add up to how the house looks and what the music is and how the tail wigs or whatever. Yeah, so something is wrong. Derek is gone. Derek is our hero's, our protagonist friend who is nowhere to be found. So I have to inspect the house to find some clues about his whereabouts. Yeah, I'm still not sure in the narrative things from which person I should be talking to, whether it's a first person and the text will be I, or will it be, which is funny. And for those of you who don't know, there is a second person, which means you. Yeah, and what does the dog? A second person can be explained somewhat when we are talking to ourselves. Yeah, never occurred to any of you where you thinking on doing something and you're like, we should do this. So it's me and me. Yeah, so it's a little bit about that second person. So I'm still thinking about how to go with it narratively, whether it should be first person, I, or it should be the second person and not the third, because we are the dog. So okay, and then I also been thinking about the tutorial, which is funny thing that it's very hard to find the tutorial on how to make a tutorial. I'm sure they are there, but but I'd rather think that it shows the complete failure of search engines. Yes, because I need a tutorial on how to make a tutorial in Unreal. I've tried a different combination, like in-game tutorial, player tutorial, whatever. I didn't find anything useful, and I would just say, to hell with it. I will like make a tutorial objective in objectives. So, and in part of the game where I think, or maybe the playtest will show that players are still getting confused with how to use their abilities. They are very limited abilities. You just can walk, run, and sniff around and interact. This is it. Yeah. So, but still, some people can forget because we are humans and we are playing as a dog. So it's only natural that a human can forget that he can smell and use and rely on this very, very precise instrument. Yeah, so I decided to add another layer to the narrative, which called the tip. Yeah, and this is the I don't know, will be a very soft clue to what the player should do, or maybe where the player should go, which location he could check out to progress forward. Yeah, so it could be a reminder that, okay, man, I know you know how to sniff, but you forgot, and just like try it here. Yeah, and yeah, maybe you forgot that sniffing makes sense in the objects that are out of place, because I literally, in terms of resources, in terms of narrative, in terms of game design, I just cannot make everything smell in the game, because it will be terrible. And I have to put those smells somewhere. I will show what I'm talking about. And we can enter our sniff mode and nothing is here, right? Because I cannot make everything smell. It will be like, it will be crazy. Yeah. Where should the dog smell? Yeah, there are some things that look out of place. So here is an example, and it's a pretty design/narrative challenge to make this look natural, but still make these things obvious. Another layer I've added up to here is that when you smell something, if it's an important thing you should further investigate, it just close. Yeah, and when we come here, we can have a bark about it, and then we can have smell around. So here it is. And I'm really planning on putting the clues, the tips, whatever you call it, to this particular mechanics, which are simple. Yeah, it's only my job to mix them further and add something new every once in a while in the game. So I think I've added just an instrument, just a tool for me to make it work the way I want, and this is it. I will show it to you a little bit more. Yeah, there's a bunch of debug strings. Yeah, so here is our first objective, and when we happen to change the objective, it also changes. And here's another tip. So whenever you're stuck, you can find a lever, a button, a puzzle, an NPC, an item, a ball. You just can't find it. Just sniff around. Yeah, here it is. Have a great day. Yeah, and see you in a week or two. Goodbye.